Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's June 10th, 2016. Big story today. Muhammad Ali's funeral processional in his hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. They're reporting that it's going to be a 19-mile processional, and this stands out in a big way because 19 is a very special number to the Quran, the Islamic holy book. There's something called the Quran Code. It talks about how the Quran is centered around the number 19. We'll elaborate on that a little bit. In this video, though, I want to also show why the funeral procession is taking place today, 7 days after his death, which was June 3rd. If you haven't seen the videos I've already made on his passing, there's a playlist linked below in the description. In 2014, I wrote about on my blog, I talked about in a video why we might see Muhammad Ali pass at the age of 74, a very special number, a number often having to do with ritual sacrifice. The name Muhammad in Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, equals 74. So does the name Jesus, so does the word cross, so does gospel, so does Messiah. The name Joshua is the English translation of Jesus. Joshua equals 74. The Greek spelling Yeshua equals 74. It's a special number. It's a number also coded into the name Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad from the Quran died at age 63. Muhammad Ali died on June 3rd, 6/3 as we'd write it in the United States, 63 days before the start of the Summer Games. And at the end of this video, we'll talk about the significance of Muhammad Ali opening the 96 Summer Games in Atlanta. In the Quran, Surah 74:30 talks about 19 angels, one of many references to the number 19. Here it is also with 74. I want to point out that the word processional, what they're using for his memorial today, is also a word with 74 gematria, quite fitting, calling it a processional, a 19-mile processional. Making matters even more interesting, we just talked about the significance of 63. 19 miles in gematria equals 63. In simple English gematria, 19 miles also equals 144. In the Quran, there's only a handful of verses that mention the name Muhammad. One of them is 144. It reads, Muhammad is no more than a messenger, and messengers have passed away before him. If then he were to die or be slain, will you turn about on your heels? As to say, once he's gone, will you forget about him? Will you turn your back on him? Whoever turns about on his heels can in no way harm Allah. As for the grateful ones, Allah will soon reward them. In other words, those who never turn their back, they will be rewarded, the faithful. 144, a number that often has to do with death and killing. Here it is coded also into the 19 miles, corresponding with this verse in the Quran about the death of Muhammad. Exactly what we're talking about. With regards to 63 and the year we're in, 2016 in the Gregorian calendar, if you add every number 1 through 63, it sums to 2016. We're seeing a lot of this number this year. With regards to Muhammad being the messenger in the Quran, Muhammad Ali equals 42, messenger equals 42, Freemason equals 42, very special number to these people. He died 63 days before the Summer Games in Rio, 42. If you add up all the divisors of 42, all the numbers that divide into 42, it sums to 96. And we'll talk about the significance of 96 in just a moment. The Quran has 114 chapters. In Gematria, there's a relationship between 19 and 114 through the letter S. Two very important forms of Gematria. Another overlap with 19. This book called the Quran Code, it's written by author Rashad Khalifa. The book is full of all of the references of 19. A lot of math in this book shows how significant 19 is to the Quran. Some of the examples are right here. The first word, ism, is used 19 times in the Quran. The second word, Allah, is used an amount of times that's divisible by 19. Notice 19 times 142. 142 is directly connected to 42. If you write out 42 as a word, it sums to 142. And we just established the significance of 42 in this relationship to Muhammad, the messenger. These are just some examples. There's many more. What stands out right away, though, is this right here. The Quran's 19 code, however, is not limited to the first verse only. Historically, the first chapter ever revealed to Muhammad was chapter 96. Freemason the big way equals 96. Muhammad Ali in simple English gematria sums to 96. And none of this is coincidence. This is what it's all about. The ongoing code by the numbers. And I know a lot of people don't like me for saying this, but it seems clear to me from doing this research that the Freemasons have created the spiritual texts of the world for the purpose of divide and conquer. Look at this world right now with Christians and Muslims, and what the mainstream media run by Masons and Zionist Jews is trying to achieve, dividing people over these spiritual boundaries. And I have heard, I cannot verify myself because I only speak English, but I've heard that the original translation of the Bible in its original language reads identical to the Quran. The English versions that we know here in the United States and the Western world, completely different than the original Bible. What's interesting about the phrase Quran code is it has gematria of 98 and 44, just like prophet, Muhammad the prophet. Surah 19 is exactly 98 verses. With regards to 44, Prophet the Smaller Way, we saw in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals, the day after Muhammad Ali's passing, we saw the halftime score, 44-52, a sum of 96 points. Remember, halftime equals 74, just like Muhammad. Halftime tribute to Muhammad Ali. With regards to the other score, 44 points to 52 points, the word prophecy has gematria 52, connecting to prophet. Muhammad Ali changed his name at age 22. So he was Muhammad Ali for 52 years. Today's date, the date of the funeral procession, is a date with 52 numerology. Numbers I've already been talking about in the prior videos. And, just following this number pattern, 3 days after Muhammad Ali passed, we saw another fighter pass, Kimbo Slice, at age 42, who was born in 74. Definite parallels to Muhammad Ali, another fighter. Muhammad Ali became boxing champion in 64 in Miami Beach. Boxer equals 64. Miami Beach equals 64. Boxing champion in 64. Kimbo Slice called Miami home. Muhammad Ali, that's where he became boxing champion at the age of 22. He was born in 1942. He contracted Parkinson's at age 42. Kimbo Slice just died at 42. 42, a number coded in a negative way on black people worldwide, all throughout history by these Masons. Think about how Muhammad Ali changed his name to Muhammad Ali at age 22. Ali 22, Muhammad 74, put it together 96. Supposedly Muhammad, the real prophet, first exposed to chapter 96, a boxing ring 96 feet around. The other news in the headline today is that Gordie Howe, the hockey player, passed, longtime Detroit Red Wing. I haven't done much homework on it, but Having been to Detroit, what I can think of is Joe Louis's fist, the giant statue, a tribute to boxing in the city of Detroit, just outside of the stadium where the Red Wings play. So I'll do some more research on that. Some people say Gordie Howe, the greatest hockey player ever. Muhammad Ali, the greatest boxer ever. I'm sure there's more parallels that I'm not seeing yet. But this is why we have the 19-mile procession today. All by the numbers. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time. Encore, one last quick point. All of these Masonic religions, Christianity, Islam, they all come back to the sun. And I know people don't like to hear this, but it's the truth, and it's so obvious. Look at what Muslims do. They're on their knees praying in the direction of the sun throughout the day. Muslim equals 24, the sun equals 24. How many hours are there in a day? 24, determined by the sun. With the S exceptions, the sun and Muslim both sum to 33, another important spiritual number. That's why the Masons who rule over, they do all this stuff in a mocking tone, because they know that they've given the world these false things to believe in. You know, they're about divide and conquer, order through chaos, being the invisible architects of society. It's why they have no respect for any of this, and it's always a continual mocking. They know that they have the people worshiping, false things. So obvious. All of you who are so committed to your holy books, think about it. Does God create books? No, God doesn't create books. God creates trees. Man chops down trees, makes books, tells people what to believe. Believe equals 33. Science in this world is very much the same thing. People squabbling over spirituality and science. It's all controlled by the Masons. They're just giving us information they want us to have, leaving out the truth. All right, until next time.